While some of the richest Russians avoid the worst of the sanctions, there are big money managers getting caught up in the mess, trying to work out who is and who isn't sanctioned and by whom. Cayman Island-based Concord Management has $6 billion at its disposal, most of which belongs to Roman Abramovich. It handed out checks of millions of dollars to more than 100 hedge funds and PE firms. And when the oligarch got hit by the sweeping EU and UK penalties, these firms were left stranded. They can't get rid of the tainted money and they can't collect fees on it either. Let's get into the details here. Joining us now to dig into this story, Tom Metcalf, our finance editor here in the UK. Tom, good to have you with us once again. So here we're talking about those who have been sanctioned, and specifically Abramovich, $6 billion of his money with Concord Management, and then that found its way to more than 100 hedge funds and private equity firms who, of course, under normal times might have said, yes, thank you very much, we'll manage that money for you. How exactly are the new rules then around sanctions affecting those who've found themselves exposed in this case?
Yeah, exactly. It's a really interesting example of sort of the impact of sanctions on finance. As you say, at the time, you know, a few years ago before Abramovich was sanctioned, people were very keenly taking this money from Concord, which we now understand is sort of the source of some of his money. But now with these new rules, effectively frozen is probably the best word. As you pointed out, there's very little they can do. So they can't let Abramovich sell the stake, they can't charge him fees on the stake, and they can't pass him any money, basically. So effectively, that money is frozen, and you know, there's not much either Abramovich or the firms can do, really.
Good morning, Tom. Concord Management funneled $6 billion of Abramovich's money to these firms. What do we know about the role Concord Management plays in all this?
Yeah, this is probably the most fascinating part of the story for me. It's a firm I'd never heard of, and then, you know, you realise, wow, it's sent $6 billion to, you know, some of the biggest names in money management. I mean, there's two kind of conflicting accounts, right? What they've told our reporters is, hey, we are just sort of an advisor, you know, we're kind of one step removed from this process. But then talking to people involved in the process, they say, our understanding that's very different. It's kind of actively pushing funds into various things. Think of it almost as like a multi-family office or something along those lines.
Yeah, it seems as if it's quite difficult to define exactly what it is. And in earlier legal papers, it's been contested, hasn't it? Disagreements about how you should define exactly this business, Concord Management. So what is the likely outcome then? Do firms just have to wait out the sanctions? They've got this money that they can't really do very much with.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is an interesting case study and shows the kind of position basically all finance, all businesses in, right? Like, this is not in their hands. It's going to depend on the war in Ukraine, you know, what the political situation is, what happens to these sanctions. I think the safest bet right now is, yes, for a long time, this is going to be the status quo, because until the political situation changes significantly, none of these sanctions are going away and will probably only get worse.